Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the banking crisis, talking about Silicon Valley Bank, the silly bank from California, giving out loans to startups that don't deserve those loans. We're also going to be talking about Signature Bank, that Swiss bank, and what it means for crypto, what effect it's going to have on crypto, where's Bitcoin price going, where's the altcoin price going. So if you think that's interesting, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, go to cryptollc.org. If you want to set up a GPU or ASIC mining farm, so we set up farms for clients all around the world. If you want to set one up for yourself here in the United States or maybe a different country, we provide services for that. We also provide management services. We sell ASICs and GPUs, have one of the best prices online. Go to cryptollc.org and we'll get in touch. And before we get started, Bitcoin saves your wealth. Jesus Christ saves your soul. All right, so today's video, I'm going to show you guys, walking around, showing you guys our GPU farm here. This farm is in hibernation mode. The client wanted to put this farm on hold until altcoins pick back up. We see Bitcoin's coming online here, $28,300 last time I checked. Very, very good price for Bitcoin. So if you're mining on ASICs, you're totally fine. You've been fine for years and years and years. You have a good electric rate, you're always profitable. For GPUs, there's a potential to make more money on GPUs than on ASICs, but you do take that risk where if the altcoins crash, then you could have your farm go into like a hibernation mode for a couple of months, and you have to turn these guys off and just keep them, hibernate them basically. You see them all taking a nap, resting, and getting ready for the next bull market to come in, and we're going to turn them back on. And that should be coming online here in maybe a couple of weeks. Bitcoin will probably be above 30K, and then at that point we can have these guys turn back on. We'll start mining on them. All right, so again, today's video, we're talking about Silicon Valley Bank. So what happened down there? What happened in Silicon Valley Bank? It doesn't really matter what happened, because the most important thing is banks took a crash, right? Banks took a crash. Why did they take a crash? Giving out loans they can't afford the interest rate on them. Treasury notes went up in price. Had that effect where they basically are not making any money. They also gave out, especially for Silicon Valley Bank, they also gave out bad loans to startups that don't deserve it. They were giving out a lot of loans to loans based on race, instead of based on merit. So a lot of loans are going to companies, startups that don't deserve it. They just got it just because they were a certain race. So a lot of racist loans were being given out from Silicon Valley Bank. And the other banks as well. So it has a negative impact on the dollar, on the financial system in the West. They're also all tied together. But what does it mean for crypto? So crypto, you can't just print a bunch of Bitcoins. You can't just print a bunch of altcoins. A lot of altcoins are made, or the algorithm for it is made in such a way where you can't just print out of thin air. You can't just hold your hand out like this and then Bitcoin appears in your hand. It's not going to happen, right? You have to earn it. When you use a dollar, you just basically go beg the Fed, and the Fed will give you whatever money you want. And that's what Silicon Valley Bank did. The FDIC insurance is $250,000. But because a bunch of people in Silicon Valley Bank called up the United States government and said, bail me out, that's what they did. They ignored their own rules for the FDIC and gave them all their money back. And why is that? Because the people at Silicon Valley Bank have direct ties to the US president, to some of the senators in Congress, and everyone else in power. So that means that they basically called up their buddies and said, hey, I don't want to lose my money. Let's say you had an account on Silicon Valley Bank and it was $10 million, right? Well, you're only covered for $250,000. So you're going to lose the rest, right? You lost the rest. So instead of taking a loss, they called up Biden and they said, Biden, do something. And Biden's like, all right, well, I'm going to go against the law and go against everything that the United States stands for, go against what's fair, go against capitalism. I'm basically going to be a communist, and I'm just going to give you the money. I'm going to make you whole. I want to steal from someone else and just give it to you. So that's what Biden did, and Silicon Valley Bank has got its liquidity from the federal government. What does it mean for Bitcoin? It means that Bitcoin is actual money. You can't do that with Bitcoin. You can't just give out 20 Bitcoins. You know, for Ethereum, I'll give you an example. For Ethereum, you can. Remember when Ethereum was hacked or whatever was happened to it, someone, I think it was a 51% attack, or whatever it was like years ago, and they went back in time on the blockchain and reversed transactions. So Ethereum is the same level as the federal government. Oh, one of your little people on Ethereum lost some money, well, boo-hoo, right? But no. Vitalik Buterin went, reversed the blockchain, and undid the loss. By undoing the loss, he basically solidified Ethereum as a piece of garbage coin. Absolute trash coin that needs to be thrown in the dump. And that's what it is, because who knows when that's going to repeat, right? You don't know when it's going to repeat again. What if it's going to repeat in another half a year? What if there's another 51% attack? What if something happens, there's a glitch in the software, and someone loses a lot of money, and they have good connections with Vitalik Buterin? What are they going to do? They're going to reverse the blockchain and get the money back. That's what they're going to do. No one's going to do that for Bitcoin, right? No one's going to do that for a lot of the other altcoins. No one's going to do that. You know, I doubt Conflux, if it's going to get a 51% attack or going to get hacked or whatever, is going to have that same situation. Someone's going to undo the Conflux blockchain and then go back in time and erase the transaction. Same thing for Bitcoin Gold, same thing for Bitcoin Z, same thing for Ravencoin, same thing for various other coins, and especially for Bitcoin. No one's going to do that for Bitcoin. You can lose $100 billion on Bitcoin, you know, because you accidentally gave out your secret key to somebody else. No one's going to go there and undo the blockchain to get your 100 billion back. No one's going to do that. That's too bad for you. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin. In the government, especially the United States government, when you have, you know, communists that are basically running your government, you will have the opposite. You are friends of Biden, you get a bailout. You're friends with Powell, you get a bailout. You know some senator, you get a bailout. You know a congressman, you get a bailout. You're Joe Blow, you get nothing, right? You get nothing. You take a hike. And that's how everything is run in the United States. So that's why if you got cash, right, you got cash, you want to get away from the dollar, get into crypto mining, get into knowledge of cryptocurrencies, you know, do research on blockchains, buy Bitcoin, buy altcoins, you know, hold them, buy assets like these assets here, these 3080s. These are hard assets. You have these assets. You can mine on them. And then in a bull market, you could sell them, get your money back as you were mining into the bull market, as you were mining in the bull market. And then when the bull market might be kind of stagnating, that's when you can sell these GPUs. You can sell them back to gamers. You know, they're great GPUs. They're not bad GPUs for gamers. I mean, who do you trust? A miner that spent years having, you know, taking care of the cards in a very, very high quality way, you know, like they replaced the thermal pad, they replaced the thermal paste, they had good airflow. Are you going to buy it from someone that just had it in a tiny little box where it barely fit and had a bunch of wires next to it, and the whole thing was frying there for years and years and years because he was gaming on it, and then he's going to sell it? I mean, who are you going to trust? I'd rather buy one of these. They are better taken care of than a lot of gaming cards out there that's run by, you know, gamers that took very bad care of the card. So again, these cards are great. You can then sell them and in a bull market and get your money back. So that's one of the options there. Or you can just keep mining on them. So whatever you want to do. Like right now, they're sleeping, they're hibernating. They're not making any money, obviously. They're hibernating because Bitcoin fell to like 15,000, 14, 15, 16,000. And the most important reason is because Ethereum went to proof of stake, and then all the hash rate switched over to all the other altcoins like Conflux, Ravencoin, and stuff like that. Their hash rate like went up like 5, 10x, and there's not enough money in those other coins. So Ethereum was basically holding it. And once Ethereum's going to start losing market share and start losing cash on it, which eventually that will happen by my prediction, I think it will happen. Because Ethereum's a joke, it's a garbage coin, it's absolute trash, get rid of it, buy yourself some other coin. But until that's going to happen, that takes some time. And that time is basically almost up. We're almost back to having good profits on GPU mining, almost back to it here. Again, I think when Bitcoin hits like 30,000, maybe like 32,000, we'll start turning our GPU farms back on and start mining away. Show you guys from this side over here. So we're almost there. We're almost at that point. Again, back to Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank. So what's going to happen? No one knows, obviously. My prediction is Biden's going to print like $2 trillion to bail out all these banks. We're not going to know that number until sometime later, maybe like a couple months later. They'll come out and say, okay, it took us, $300 billion to fix that Swiss bank. It's going to take us another $500 billion to fix Silicon Valley Bank, and these other banks, they lost liquidity. Their bank accounts went to zero, which is funny because how can a bank account owned by a bank goes to zero? But that's the joke of the century, right? But when that goes to zero, what's going to happen is you will have a dollar crisis, a bank crisis. It's not that things are going to collapse. I don't think they will. But what will happen is people lose confidence. People say, I don't want to hold my money in a Bank of America. I don't want to hold my money in some other coin where Biden's just going to print a couple $1 trillion to fix a problem. I'd rather buy a crypto coin, right? I'd rather buy some Bitcoin. I'd rather buy some Conflux. I'd rather buy some Raven coin. I'd rather buy some assets. I'd rather build a farm. I'd rather have a Bitcoin farm. I'd rather have an ASIC farm. There's other ASICs you can mine, by the way. It's not just Bitcoin ASIC. You can mine other ASICs. You can mine Litecoin, with ASICs. You can mine whatever you want. But the fact is that you would get away from the printing, right? That doesn't affect you anymore because Biden cannot print Litecoin. Biden cannot print Bitcoin. You just can't. Can't print any of that. So that's pretty much today's video. Hope you guys like it. And again, if you're looking to set up a GPU or ASIC mining farm, go to cryptollc.org. We set up farms all over the world. We have 2.2 megawatts available right now for hosting. We're very close to having 500 of those ASICs being taken up, low power mode. Like we recommend clients coming in with S19s to run them at low power mode. You will get more efficiency, about 25, 26 watts per terahash, which is better than 29 for S19J or 35 for S19. It's a way better efficiency, so we recommend that for all of our clients coming in. And if you want to jump in, 100 ASICs, 200, 300, 400, or just take the whole entire 2.2 megawatts, we have that available right now. Go to cryptollc.org, send us an email. The launch timeline is about 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll launch it all for you and everything start mining away. And right now is a really great time to jump in because you can get used S19s for a really cheap price, like very cheap. And don't be scared that they're used. Like I would buy used myself. I would buy used myself. S19s are a solid miner. They do not break like at all. If you watch our other previous videos, our 1.75 megawatt farm we have right now, click on the channel. You'll find some videos from that farm. And that farm is running all S19s. And I can tell you they run solid. They rarely break. You might have like one hash board going down, not because it burnt, but because it has a signal problem. Maybe a resistor went bad or something like that. Maybe the PIC processor went bad. Basically, you would have one hash board go down a month, right? And you have 3 hash boards in every single miner. So you have 500 miners, that's 1,500 hash boards. And only 1 or maybe 2 would go down a month. So very solid miners. Don't be scared about used. I would highly recommend used. They're way cheaper. But if you prefer new, that's fine too. You want to spend the extra money and get a bunch of new ones. Sure, do that. New is great. Obviously, it's brand new. It will have less problems initially, but not much of a difference between new and used. Well, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys like it. You know what to do. Like on the video, subscribe to the channel, go to cryptollc.org, and that's going to be it for this one. Until next time, bye.